My name's Alisa Finken, and I am originally from Southern California. We moved to North Idaho 2 years ago and loved it. It's absolutely beautiful. But we both felt, my husband and I, that God was calling us to move down to Arizona. And at that point, I had no idea what we were going to find in Arizona. When I first got diagnosed, got to Idaho, I bought books. Okay, I don't know enough about cancer other than it's bad. Other than you can die and it stinks. So what else is there to it? So when I started diving into that and reading and watching documentaries and different things, I'm like, what's going on? Why hasn't treatment improved over the last 100 years? Cancer has been around a long time. But the way I grew up and listening to the media talk and all the, hey, pink ribbon this, walk for that, why aren't we further in traditional treatment? That was my question. You just keep reading thing after thing and you're like, how come no one's talked about mistletoe therapy? Why isn't anyone talking about vitamin C in any of these books that they've written over the last 50 years that I'm reading? They're all talking about the same thing, chemo treatment, radiation, surgery, cut it out, do this. But the results aren't there. I went to the oncologists, went to the surgeons, and they all said the exact same thing. Oh yeah, this will be good for you. Don't worry. If you were my wife, if you were my daughter, you should do this. I would let them do this. And that's funny. Every one of you said the exact same thing, word for word. And then I came across this other speaker who had treated his cancer naturally. And he said, oh, when you go to see the doctor, this is what they're going to say. Word for word, exactly what he said. I'm like, okay. So then I started studying what he was teaching. I'm doing all kinds of stuff because I didn't believe in traditional treatment. All my research as far as breast cancer goes showed it was not very successful. It's really good at making you sick and really good at degrading the body's overall health. And so to me, I had always been studying natural medicine all my life. And through that process, that's when I learned cancer treatments have at best 3% success rate through traditional treatment. There's a ton of natural modalities out there, a ton. Probably more than I even know still to this day. And it's been 2 years that I've been working on this. And through that, I was able to take a piece here, take a piece there. Okay, let's try this routine, let's try that routine. So I needed help. I knew I needed someone to be my coach and say, yes, take this test so we know what to give you next. Take this test so we can see how your body's functioning with this. Okay, yeah, it's going to show us this information. This is the path we're going. I needed someone to pull all the data I had pulled together and sort it and say, yeah, here's the play. That's what I was looking for. Now, here was the other thing about Brio that I appreciate is that when they offered me something and I was not comfortable with it or I didn't necessarily agree with it, it was, okay, no problem. They said, well, this is what we think, this is what we see. I'm like, okay. And I would take it in and research it myself and come back with a yes or no. And if I said no, it was respected. And that's the other thing I didn't appreciate. You walk into one of the traditional medicine offices and it's just, you got to do this now. We have to decide this right now. Can we get you scheduled right now? I'm like, whoa, do we? If I don't tell you, yes, schedule me for that treatment right now, am I going to be dead? Can I not take a day to think this over? Well, that's fine. And again, the attitude, they just dismiss me. Running it past my other doctor back in Idaho, my naturopath. She's like, it's time we need help. Your body needs just a little something extra to get it over. Your body is trying really hard. Okay, well, that's good then. Obviously, I'm doing something right, but I need a coach to come in and tell me that's what you need to be doing. So I Googled IPT therapy. 4 other clinics showed up. I just want answers. I want someone to help me. That's all I wanted. James answers the phone. And I said, hey, okay, he's trying to explain all the great things here, but I had already looked at the website. I'm like, I get it. I'm already educated enough about the modalities you offer. I got it. what are you going to charge me? I said, can you tell me that? He said, I can do it better. I'm texting you right now everything you need to know on the pricing. Oh, I don't need to come in and be interviewed. I don't have to have a long conversation. He's like, no. And it was there. I got the price. It was less than the other place, a little more than the other doctor, but I was also getting all the other modalities that they weren't offering. I said, okay. I said, I'm in. He's like, what? I said, yeah. How soon can you make my appointment? I said, you have finally answered all my questions. Now, I've got a very strong walk with Jesus. So 2 nights before, my husband and I went to go to the movies to see The Chosen season 3 the episodes 1 and 2 were out. I'm like, all right, cool. I can fall asleep anywhere. I slept through most of the showing. And I just happened to wake up for one particular scene. And in the scene, Jesus is talking to the disciple James. And he's telling him, James wants to know why he hasn't healed him yet. I'm like, yeah, that's a good question. Why hasn't he healed him yet? And Jesus goes on to explain, because your testimony is going to be that much stronger when I do. So when I called Brio and James answered the phone, mind you, I missed his name when he first said it. So I had to ask him again, what was your name? And he said, James. I'm like, yeah, I'm home. I'm done. I said, this is it, right, Lord? This is what you're telling me. This is where I need you to go. This is where you're going to help my healing. He said, okay, I'm good. And so that's how I ended up at Brio. But it was nice to walk into Brio and see smiling faces and to see the nurses that, were going to take great care of you and, we're going to do their best to make sure your IVs got changed on time, or that you got to the next station that you needed, or your lunch was delivered to you, and, just little things. Or they would refill my water for me. The CBD is huge. That helped a lot to keep me going. But once I started here on a consistent, regular treatment and all natural stuff where it wasn't taxing my body in a negative way, it was taxing it in a positive way. So it's been a full-time job. I haven't had to be anywhere at a certain time every day of the week in 2 years. That IPT is awesome as far as not trying to blow a cannon at everything. It's just like a slow drip here, just a little bit. That's all you need. And I handled it well, and they respected the way I wanted to handle it. Now, vitamin C, that's a different story. That one shows really high on my testing as being very helpful as far as natural modalities go. It was a 35% kill rate. I'm like, okay, great. I'll take that. And so that's where I get my vitamin C IVs. And I'm like, all right, load me up. Let's do it. Put me on that sonic shaker though. Love it. And it helps the lymph system. Perfect. In my testing, it says, you know what? Your body does not detox very well. Guess what the sonic shaker does? It helps your body detox. I'm like, no wonder I enjoy it. Same thing, our lymphatic massage therapist, when I get on her table, I feel so much lighter after because it's moving my lymph system, which is also sluggish. Of course, I've got cancer. So the type of cancer that I ended up with is breast cancer, triple positive. And when I arrived here, I was considered stage 3 with swollen lymph nodes. And now we're here just waiting for more results. I feel better than when I started, less pain happens. It was always infrequent, but less often now. I'm not in the amount of pain that I was once before, which to me has got to mean that I'm headed the right way now. There are modalities here that I couldn't get on my own or find a physician to do it or even know if it was worth it. That's the other thing, right? It's expensive doing these things all on your own and trying to find a provider who can do it and do it well. There's the other thing. And here they did. They do everything they do well. It's well covered. I appreciate they try to show me all the science behind it. And I'm grateful that I had the opportunity. I was grateful we could make it happen because it was the playbook I was looking for. Now, there had to be a place that would support you naturally. And if you needed more, they had more. They offered more. That IPT is awesome as far as not trying to blow a cannon at everything. It's just like a slow drip here, just a little bit. That's all you need. And I handled it well, and they respected the way I wanted to handle it. So if you have somebody in your life that is just gotten diagnosed or just has that diagnosis of cancer, give them some room and also some encouragement. Share information with them. Like, I had a friend whose husband had passed away from cancer, and they said, here, you got to take this treatment. It's going to be perfect for you. It's going to, give you 2 more years of your life. Well, he just happened to be one of those people who actually had an allergic response to what they gave him. He was dead within a month. Don't trust them what they say. I know it's scary. I get it. I lived it. It's very scary. It's super hard to walk out of a doctor's office and not do exactly what they tell you to do because you're scared. You're scared. You don't have answers. You don't know what you're dealing with exactly. It's overwhelming to be told something like that, and then you're expected to know what you're supposed to do next. Find something. Get other perspectives. Educate yourself. Because once you dive down that rabbit hole, you're going to see how backwards our system is in traditional Western medicine. So please, by all means, educate yourself and know that there's other options out there. It warrants taking a look at. So if you can afford it, take a look at it at least, and then decide. There's options. And Brio is an excellent option. And if you still want some of the traditional stuff, they'll give it to you if it's what you want. It's here. But if you don't want it, you don't have to have it. And there's a lot of other options to help support. It's kind of like weight loss in the natural treatments. Like, it took time to put the weight on, and it'll take time to put the weight off. It took time for your cancer to grow. It's going to take time for your cancer to heal the body and leave. Just because I have cancer doesn't mean this is what may take me out. It more than likely will be. But if I'm doing the right things, the body's pretty incredible with help. I didn't know 2 years ago whether or not I'm going to be here still. No one could tell me. All their best guess was maybe. They said there's no fear whether or not this works or not. Because if it doesn't, God's taken me home. Okay, not a bad deal. On the other hand, I would lament not being able to see what my kids become. Taking care of my parents as they get older. I want to see what they do. I want to see if I have grandkids. I don't know what they're going to do. But I know I've got an option now. It's more than likely going to happen. I'm like, yeah, okay, well, I'm still here.